I know it's kind of strange.
We're good.
Brother Rice. You know where I'm at, Brother Rice.
Oh, yeah.
Brother Rice.
All right, guys. We got another one. We're here at Brother Rice. We got Coach Rick Palmer here. And Coach Rick Palmer, thanks, Coach. Thank you for joining us on Sweat Equity, where we're all about the grind, the work, the passion behind the success. So, can you tell everybody about your accomplishments thus far in your coaching career, as well as your playing career?
Okay, so.
I got you.
All right, got it. Okay, I played at Detroit Country Day for legendary coach Kurt Keener.
Oh wow, you played for him.
Yeah, went on to play at Albion College for legendary coach Mike Turner. In the AAU world, I played for legendary coach Duran Walker. So I always say my coaching pedigree, I got to play for three of the best. And I take little bits and pieces of them. After I got done playing at Albion, I did 2 years of a college coach, one at Lakeland College in Sheboygan, Wisconsin as a GA, and one at Bowling Green University.
Bowling Green, which one? Ohio or Kentucky?
Yeah, Ohio. At Lakeland, I was working for Kyle Brummett, who's now the coach at Wabash College. Spent a couple Division III Final Fours, and had the pleasure of working for Lewis Orr at Bowling Green. So I feel like I've really been around some prominent basketball minds as a player and a coach. And then when I decided not to do it anymore in college, I came back and coached at Detroit Country as assistant coach under Kurt Keener and out for the family for Coach Speedy. So I got to come back and coach where I played. So I've been at this, in the coaching a while now. I don't feel like I'm that old, but I started my coaching career in 2007. It's 2025, so
Wow.
so I feel like I've been at this a little while now.
Yeah, it's 18 years.
Yep. I've been privileged to coach some unbelievable players. The first team I ever had, I think we had 7 Division I players on it in high school at Country Day. So I was spoiled. Early in my career, I had NBA point guards. I had, you think you're a really, really good coach, and as a young guy, and then you realize as you get older, it's not about you. It's about the quality of players.
Yeah.
So I've been very fortunate to coach a bunch of Division I, NBA, McDonald's All-American type of guys, and and try to get them to play together and grow. And I'm kind of the most proud of what they're doing after they leave.
Okay, so just tell me, what accomplishments did you have as far as in championships in your time? Because I was reading some papers, and I was reading one of my guys putting up some stats of the older days, and I seen your name in there. I was just like, oh wait, coach was
as a player,
coach is getting busy like that. I didn't really know.
No,
I didn't really know your.
I was a decent player. I felt like I didn't have a bunch of gifts, so I had to be smart. I had to be tough. I had to be an extension of the coach on the court, and so I felt like as a player, that's how I got to get in. I played on really good teams. So at college, we had 2 first-team All-Americans, and the second leading scorer in school history was Mike Thomas, who's the coach at East Kentwood now. So we had an unbelievable team. So people said, "Was your college career like?" Sat in the corner, made threes, played defense, and talked junk. Passed the ball to the best players. So I wasn't any type of star, but we, both in high school and in college, we won a lot of games. And so for me, winning was always the only thing that mattered. So I one of those guys that wouldn't mind sacrificing for me, so we could be better. So I wasn't any type of star player, but if you left me open, I had corner, I could knock it down, and I knew how to get it to the best players. I played with not quite coached as good a player or played with as good a players as I coached, but I played with some really good players too. So I just feel keep talent around you, and you can look pretty good. So.
Come on now. So as far as in your coaching career so far, what have you guys won the Catholic League championship? Have you guys won the state? Have you guys got close? Tell me some of that. Tell me something about your experiences in the coaching career, and have all those. You said those years was with the family and here. So why didn't you? So why not Country Day?
All right, that's a lot. Coaching-wise here, they won 1 league game the 3 years before I got here, and we didn't win my first year. So in 4 years, Brother Rice had won one Catholic League game, and quite honestly,
Wow.
the Catholic League was good then, but it wasn't what it's been the last couple of years.
Ooh, it's on fire now.
So, we've I think turned this program into a consistent team on that short list. We haven't been able to get over the hump, but we did. We won a Catholic title in 2023. That was the first one in like 30 or 40 years at the school. We won the Operation Friendship title at Cass Tech. I don't know if people remember that game. Warren Marshall hit the shot at the buzzer.
I heard about
Against
that.
Darius A. Cup, number 1 and number 2 teams in the state. Really one of the best games. People talk about that as one of the best games in this decade of high school basketball. So we won the first Operation Friendship City Championship in the school's history, and then 2 years ago we won our regional and got to the quarterfinals for the first time in 40 years. So I feel like we had some things we had to build. I'm pretty happy with where we are now, and for me the winning the ultimate prize is listen, I'm as competitive as anybody, but I don't judge or need to be vindicated by that. I like how are guys doing when they leave? Do they come back? Are they still involved in the program? Do me and them still have a relationship? So I talk a lot about, as I'm talking to young people that want to come here, it's not going to be a 4-year experience with me and you. It's going to be a 40. So I'm the most proud of that. When I have an alumni event, when I have a barbecue with my former players, when I have the alumni game in December, the percentage of guys that are back. I think last year everybody with 4 guys were back, and 3 of them were playing on TV while we were watching them hanging out after the game.
Wow,
so those were excused absences. So and we had one in the football. Henry Garrity's in the football national championship for Notre Dame. Curtis was playing on TV. Warren was in Hawaii with Oakland U. And so the guys that weren't there were guys who were excused. So that's what I'm the most proud of here. Again, I'm competitive. I would love to win one. I'd love to win more than one, but for me, that's not the end all be all.
I like that, Coach. I like that. So you building so you came here and built, like you're building like your own, like not like a fraternity inside of your players and like a coalition inside you. Like I love that.
People can say what they want about Tom Izzo. For me, the thing I take the most away from Michigan State is when they have an alumni weekend. Their alumni's connected. They hire each other in their jobs. They do those type of things. And in my coaching portfolio, when I set out to get the Brother Rice job, that was one of the 7 or 8 goals I had, was to build something like that. We're not to that level yet because we just haven't been doing it long enough. But that's what I want to build here. Why I didn't get the Country Day job, that's so far in the rear view now. I think things happen for a reason. God has a plan, and that plan was for me to be here. So I didn't really understand that then. I'm as happy as I can be here, and nothing against them, but that job's opened up a few times, and this is the spot for me. I think I've got the best president, principal, and AD in the country. So as long as those 3 are in charge, they make my job easy. So our administration is so good here that there's no chance I was leaving, and I really enjoy the community here.
How is it that you become to build such a great program when this program was once not so great? How is it that good crop of the kids come play for you?
I would tell you Henry Garrity and Curtis Williams. Curtis Williams took a chance on us when we were talking about what we want to do, not what we had accomplished. Henry Garrity went to school right across the street at St. Regis. They all had options to go other places, and they chose to go first. And so there are some things that they accomplished here that were outstanding. And they've set the tone for like work ethic in this program, including Xavier Thomas, Jonathan Blackwell, Warren Marshall, some of the early guys. That's how you build a good program. You get good players, right? The best coaches have the best players, and I'm not one that tries to. I'd rather be accused of not getting enough done with talented guys to let them play than over managing and doing that. That's just my philosophy. There's a lot of philosophies that work. That's always been my thing here. I want to make it about them, not about me.
Oh, wow, Coach. That's great. That's probably why you get them. Okay. So, Coach, if I was to walk into your practice right now and ask some of your players to describe you in one word, what would they say?
Depends on the day, probably. One word. I would hope.
Couple words.
I would hope competitive. Has our back. Like I say to them all the time, from 4 to 6, I'm gonna ride you as hard as I can, and I'm gonna try to push you to be as good as you can be. Because a lot of them have very lofty goals. But from 6 p.m. to 4 p.m. the next day, I think they know that I'm a guy they can count on. So you see me on game day sometimes. You see me if you came in our practice, you would be like, man, he gets after him pretty hard. But I think I can do that because I would hope this is what they say, that they know ultimately I care about them a lot more than just making it about me winning. It's not talk about a transformational relationship, not a transactional. And so that would be my hope for what they would say.
Okay. So, is there a reason why you're on some hard? Is there a reason why you're just like? I mean, of course, there's a reason, but give me a reason why you're on the boys so hard.
They have huge goals. Individually, they have huge goals. To have the amount of guys, and another thing I'm really proud of in this school. Yes, Curtis Williams came here, Jonathan Blackwell came here, Elijah Williams. Those guys were going to be the level they got to wherever they went to school. But we've had some guys that know us that's no one's heard of when they got here, and so the development and the culture that we built. I'm as proud of I was quote unquote the blue chip guys that came here and were on a path to do that as I am. But Warren Marshall wasn't, Luke Salkowski wasn't, David Williams wasn't, Jeremiah Caffey wasn't. So we've had some guys here in the past couple of years now that have developed themselves into players at a high level, and they're I'm really proud of them. I'm as proud of that. And look at a guy like Logan Hamama last year, 5'0" 100 pounds, and he's playing college basketball. And I probably rode him harder than any kid in 8 years, but what his goals were matched to like his gifts. His gifts weren't in size and stature, and so he had to do things a certain way. And I think he's as proud of a kid as I am as anyone that's been here in 8 years. And we got guys, all Big Ten first team making a bunch of NIL money, and we've done all that too. But those guys, I'm as proud of Logan playing at U of M Dearborn as I am Jonathan Blackwell being first team all Big Ten at Wisconsin, and everybody in between.
Oh wow, coach, that's great. So, your coaching style. Who was your favorite NBA player growing up?
Isaiah Thomas.
Why?
I grew up in the bad boy era, so I just thought Isaiah Thomas was just the best. Him and Chris Webber. So growing up, not only did I go to high school at Country, I went to kindergarten at Country Day all the way up. So I remember being 7 or 8 years old and going to Country Day games and seeing Chris Webber. I still think Chris Webber is the most dominant high school player I've ever seen. So Chris Webber and Isaiah Thomas, and now I kind of grew up with some of my heroes. Like, we're playing at Chris Webber's event. Chris Webber, like, he knows who I am. Like, it's kind of a full circle thing in basketball, and we're excited about that event. When he called and said, hey, I'm having an event, like, it was, I'd canceled another event. Like, hey man, sorry, I got invited to this, and that's him and Isaiah Thomas from a basketball perspective are my two guys. Probably just because I was here, right? Chris, I saw Chris in high school, and then I was fortunate enough to coach with his brother Jason at Country Day through our 2 state championships in the years we played there. So, I've gotten to know them and to grow up and be able to reach out and touch kind of your heroes and now looking back on it, when we were on that great run in 2023. I didn't have the aspiration to play in the NBA when I was young. I just wanted to go play at Country Day. Like, I just thought that was like so big time. And now watching my son and some of these little guys that he's friends with, he's in 6th grade now, but they were in 3rd and 4th grade, and as they looked up to Curtis Williams and Jonathan Blackwell, and those were that was their Chris Webbers. It's been special, and I hope to continue to keep building it.
Okay. So who are some of those, like, who do you think mirror the way you coach, or the style or their temperament, as far as in the NBA and or college?
I think if you came and watched us, with who we have on our staff, with Josh Baker and Rashad Porter, we probably stylistically try to play the most like Alabama and Nate Oates. But I think the most important thing you do as a coach is be you. So I'm not trying to be Kirk Keener. I'm not trying to be Dorian Walker. I'm not trying to be Mike Turner. I'm not trying to be Nate Oates. I think to be genuine to your players, to be able to respect you and coach you hard, they got to know you're genuine and that you're you. So I don't necessarily try to be like anyone else, but I take things from everybody. So like I said, Tom Izzo, the way his alumni group comes back, I'm trying to directly copy that. Nate Oates, the way we play offense, space, pace, make the right pass, paint touches, those kind of things. Stylistically, like I said, probably right now the most like Alabama, but a lot of that depends on our personnel. So I don't have like a style. I try to put our best players. My offensive philosophy is put your best players in the best chance to make plays. And so every year that changes. When we had Elijah Williams as a 6'6", kind of 3'4" when he was a sophomore, what we did to score offensively versus what we'll do with Greg Ray's and Jordan McDaniel might be. That's not the same thing. So it's not. I don't say as like I have a style of play. I think I want to play fast. I want to do kind of play, be competitive on the other end of the court, work. But as far as the way we play, that's going to change year to year, and sometimes even week to week. And we think it works, doesn't. We try to be flexible and change some things up. So nobody really in particular, but probably again Nate Oates. If you had to look at us the last couple of years since we've gone to the dribble drive, that probably looks the most similar to them, or I hope it does.
Okay, okay. That's great. So, who are some of those high school matchups that you can just say, all right, look, guys, sorry, strap your boots up, no complaining. I know this coach, I know this guy, I know how this program is. These guys are going to fucking bring it. These guys going to do all they can. Who are some of those high school matchups that you know that those programs or that coach is going to bring it?
I mean, the guy probably was 1A or 1B for me, just retired. So I just thought Pat Donnelly was like the best. So I actually coached Chris Jenkins in AAU 100 years ago when I was just getting started. So their new coach, I'm excited to see what he does. I think people are writing them off for not going to be very good. And I know the type of guys they have and the type of seniors they have. And I know what type of guy Chris is. I think UAD's still going to be really in the thick of things more than people think. I think Mike Thomas is, as well, Pat Donnelly is. Pat Donnelly actually was the college coach that coached against me my first college game. So that we figured that out, years later. So my first game at Albion, Coach Donnelly was the opposing coach. He doesn't really like to hear that because it makes him feel old. But now I feel old because I used to coach Chris. So it all kinds of goes full circle. And you look up now, and I'm the second longest tenured coach in the Catholic League, and I feel like I just got here. So
Been here for a while.
Mike Thomas is another guy that being my college teammate, he's won state championships in 2 places, and he's got East Kentwood. They're an up and coming program.
So wait. Now he's at East Kentwood. He was at Davidson, correct?
No, he was at Kalamazoo Central. He won state championships there in the late 2000s. Then he went to Grand Blanc and won with Ty Rogers and R.J. Taylor.
Oh, see, I thought
and
that
now
was
he's at East Kentwood. So Mike was my teammate. So Mike's one of my good friends. He's a guy I lean on a lot. There's a guy, and we're actually playing him this year. It's the best team he's had. One of my college teammates, Marcus Gill, who's been a head college coach. He's at a small D4 called Concord High School. They're one of the top 3 or 4 Division IV programs this year, teams in the state. So he raised his hand. We always go to the Mike Turner Classic in Albion, where we honor the coach that we all played for, and it's all Albion alums playing. And he kind of raised his hand that he wanted to come play. He wanted to come play us. So that'll be one for me that, again, I don't know that our kids will be all jacked up, but I haven't played against Marcus yet. So, and Mike and I have played a bunch. I don't think we're playing this year as of now, but our whole schedule. I mean, we've got Ferndale, we've got East Lansing, we've got River Rouge, we've got Rockford, we've got plus the Catholic League. The 3 people don't know about this. The 3 teams in Toledo in the Catholic League all have a Division I senior coming back. They're loaded. We got to go to Toledo twice. So. I would say this schedule might be the hardest one I've put together, and I always feel like we put together some hard ones. And this one is really, really difficult. And so that's by design. We want to be ready to go in March.
Come on now. That's the whole purpose.
Yeah.
Give you some challenges, give you some games where you probably lose, but all in all, to be able to be focused when it's money time.
Yeah. And then in our league, maybe the talent isn't quite as high, and again, how high it was, right? I think when you talk about Trey McKinney and Sherrod Barnes and Leroy and Xavier Johnson and Phoenix Glasner and Amani and the guys that this league have lost, my talent might be a little down, but it's still a tough league to play in. The coaches are prepared. They watch more film. A lot of us don't necessarily have teaching jobs where they're in a class for 6 hours a day teaching students, where we've got the flexibility to kind of watch a little bit more film, do a little bit more from a scouting perspective. We all have big staffs, so I think, and a lot of these schools trust their staff. So for me, my 4 assistants all take scouts, so they're 2 or 3 weeks ahead on whoever we play. So we might get done playing Ferndale, and now Coach Leon might not have another scout till De La Salle on December 13th. So now he's going to go watch. He's going to become a De La Salle expert. And so I really trust my staff. I also think a big key, as far as, I didn't say this and I should have, good players is a key, but we have a great, I would like to argue with anybody on the quality of my staff. I got assistant coaches that have better resumes than me. Josh Baker's won 4 state titles. Laddie Andahazy's been a high school coach for 15 years. We just hired a guy, Coach Cooper, who's bringing some really good stuff to us in our skill work stuff. So, and besides our players moving on, we've now had 4 or 5 coaches move on from here and have had success. So, Eric Evans has had a bunch of success at Divine Child. Isaiah Novak's at Rochester Adams doing a great job. Chris Burns was the National Junior College Coach of the Year at Macomb. He left here to go to Macomb. And now Richard Porter is going to Roseville. Man, we had an open gym with them here a couple weeks ago. They're going to surprise some people there. They're pretty good. And Coach Porter does an unbelievable job. So, I take pride in that too, right? The guys can come here, learn from the other staffs. We haven't had no egos on our staff with really talented guys. And I think that's really helped our success as
Your
well.
coaching program sound like San Antonio Spurs. How all those guys, like real talk, all of those guys from the San Antonio Spurs, George Popovich tutelage, they all go places. The Mike Browns, all those guys go different places. They're all out there. The Brett Browns and all those guys, they come from a good staff with a good structure and a good culture. So I love
And they
that.
brought a lot of stuff to us. So, I don't sit here again say I'm the expert. If they got something that's great and that thinks it fits our personnel, like let's do it. I don't try to have all the answers. I try to empower them, and I think that's why we were able to attract quality assistants. If they come here, they're going to be appreciated. They're going to have a distinct role, and they get to be around a group of kids who wants to work. So this is an easy group to coach, and it's been like that here the last 3 years. It's an easy group to coach. I think you saw the open gym wrapping up. They're competitive and they went at it, but they're all sitting with Trevor and Greg were going at it, and I look over and now Trevor and Greg are sitting there. There's no, it doesn't leave the 94 by 50. So, and that's gone from a lot of different players that have instilled that in this program. I'm fighting to keep that culture here like crazy, competitive, hardworking, and so that's what
And
we
positive
want to
too,
do.
because like it could have been negative. They could have been hating each other off the side, but it's not. I'm gonna hate you here. I'm gonna get you better here, and I'm gonna go at you here. But it's like you said, it stays in here because this is what it's about. But we're gonna still be brothers. I mean, with different mothers, of course.
Right.
We're gonna still be cool. I love that.
And I think that happens not just in the basketball world at Brother Rice. I think that's something we preach in the hallway. So brotherhood is a main big word around here. And it's not just something we put on a billboard, or that it's every day here. And so just being around the community and being around excellence, right? So one of the words we talk about at Brother Rice is respect, integrity, character, and excellence. Excellence is not something that a lot of places act like they strive for, but they don't necessarily always do the things to be excellent, right? The best players play here. There's no feedback you don't get pressure from the president or the board to play certain people, and that doesn't happen everywhere else. And I think that's true about a lot of the Catholic League schools. And again, it's one of the reasons why the administration supports coaches, and it's one of the reasons, besides really good players, that the Catholic League has had a bunch of success. I think they're all 5 of us are trying to be super successful and are allowed to be. In a lot of places, some politics and things get in the way of that not happening. So I know here, I don't want to speak for everybody else, but I get the same vibe from the other Catholic schools that it's definitely like that here.
Okay. So like just to go off real quick, and you said Catholic League school, like it's been a thing going on as far as in, back in the day, like you played. So back in the day when you seen a PSL, you seen I mean, I know you spoke on Chris Webber, but you had the Jalen Roses, you had the
100%.
Vashawn Leonards, you had all of those guys back then that were great. And then, but now you hear a lot of things is, a lot of guys, a lot of the great players are going to the Catholic League schools. Is there a reason why? Is there a reason why some of those players are going to schools like this or Catholic schools amongst other schools? In your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a reason. I mean, if you got an opportunity to come to a place like Brother Rice out here with this culture and what's going on in the hallways, I think a lot of those other programs, they can mimic what we do from 4 to 6, right? Like you can come, and I tell guys all the time, if you're not here for the whole Brother Rice experience, this isn't the place for you. You can go get I don't think I'm some, we have this. We work hard, we do things the right way, but I don't think we have this secret sauce that nobody knows about, right? I think a lot of programs mirror us, maybe do things a little bit different, but mirror what we do from a basketball perspective. It's the rest of the building that's special, and the networking, the academic success, the safety. There's some things that you could get into population breakdowns and all the thing. I mean, when I was in high school, just in the BCD division of the PSL, not the whole PSL, just the BC division, in my class was Joe Carr, Maurice Ager, Ricardo Billings, just in the class of 2002. So, they're that's not happening, anywhere else. I think the opportunity to go to other places with open enrollment, and it's not just the Catholic schools, right? We didn't have a Detroit area code on our roster last year, right? And I have this conversation with Steve Hall, right? So I think there's just more options for people, and so they're looking at things a little differently. But there's some really good coaches still in those other leagues that run a great program. I mean, I saw you interview John White the other day, and he coached for Josh Baker, who's on our staff. So you want to talk about things that we do the same. Renaissance probably mirrors us as similar as anybody, right? So from a basketball perspective, us and Renaissance aren't going to be that much different from a daily basis. The amount of work we put in. So I have a ton of respect for when you asked who were this. I just named a few, right? I mean, I don't look at them as rivalries. I look at them as peers, and I steal stuff from them. And there's a guy, Juan Rickman. We play the first game every year at Ferndale now, and the best part about playing Ferndale is after the game the next day, Juan and I are on the phone for 2 hours talking about this is what we saw, this is what we tried to attack, this is what I think you guys weren't very good at, this is what we think, vice versa. And now we play the first game of the year, and now we can go. Like, now I'm getting someone else's perspective. So Juan and I are playing the first game of the year again this year.
That's cool. That's sweet.
And so there's a lot going on to that, and there's a lot of coaches that I lean on and respect.
Okay. So take us back. Where did you grow up, and what was life like for you as a kid?
I grew up right here. So I grew up maybe half a mile from Brother Rice. So I went to Country Day, which is just a mile down the road. I grew up fortunate. So, and kind of the basketball story for me, and I tell this one a lot. When I was 12 years old, I was the best 12-year-old I knew. So I was in the Country Day Junior Jacket League and playing CYO, and I really thought, like, I didn't know another 12-year-old better than me. And I was arrogant and cocky, and my dad, he got sick of that one day, and he drove me out to the Ewald Center in Pontiac and dropped me off outside and said, "Go in, you got practice." And in that gym alone was Maurice C. Wright, Lamar C. Wright, Lester Abram, Derek Ponder, and countless Grant Mason, countless other guys. And I went from being the best 12-year-old in the world from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, to getting dropped off in Pontiac Ewald Center, and I was the worst player in the gym. You want to talk about a life-changing moment for me? was really that day, and I think it shapes the type of relationships, and not just coaching-wise, work-wise. I've been around different things, and I think I can fit in a corporate Fortune 100 boardroom and go sell to them, and I can go hang at the Ewald Center and anything in between. So I think that's why I built the company I built. It's why we built the program I built, and it's how I built the life I built. Is that day and that group of people that I grew up with was really special, and coached by Roy Webb, who unfortunately passed away a couple years ago. So we'll talk about another guy who kind of shaped me as a basketball player. He was my coach, right, at a young age. So and then you look at that, like you look at Pontiac basketball, back to, I'm jumping around, but what's happened to some of these other big schools. So Pontiac, when I was in high school, Pontiac Northern won back-to-back state championships. Pontiac Central took them to triple overtime in the districts. St. Mary's was number 6 in the country when I was in high school with all Pontiac guys. Now Pontiac's one high school. St. Mary's doesn't really have Pontiac guys. And Pontiac's, I mean, if you'd have done that, 18 years ago, or 2002, how many years? 23 years ago. I mean, there would have been Division I players on JV as seniors, right? Like it would have been. They would have been the best team in the country. So I just think at the same time Pontiac basketball started to fall off is when the Ewald Center closed, when the Holland Center closed. So you want to talk about what's changed in basketball. I don't know that basketball is necessarily a less fortunate kid sport anymore. I think you got to pay. My kids aren't. You got to pay money to play AU. You got trainers. So you want to talk about what's changed. There's a lot more good players from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan now than there were 25 years ago, and some of the guys get left behind in places that can't do it. I'm not saying it's fair or right or whatever else, but you're going to ask me my opinion. That I think that I know because I saw firsthand playing in the Pontiac City League. Once the city center shut down in Pontiac, it was probably 2 or 3 more years later, And so I think they're growing it back. I think they've got a good corp of Pontiac kids that they got to stay home. I always root for Pontiac basketball because to me that's kind of where I grew up here in Bloomfield Hills, but Pontiac was my basketball hometown, so I always try to root for them as well. So, that's how I grew up.
Okay, okay. So, who or what first introduced you to the game of basketball?
My earliest basketball memories are Chris Webber, going to country day games as a 6, 7, 8-year-old and watching Chris just dominate. Right, I remember they had the Gatorade dunk sign of Jordan, the Gatorade 10s. The whole student section would have those. Every time Chris dunked, they'd all throw those up and run around. And I would just be like, wow, this is all I want. Like I said earlier, all I wanted to do was to go be a country day varsity basketball player starting at 6 or 7 years old. Everyone else had NBA goals. That was my goal first, and it was because of Chris.
So why not football? Why not soccer? Why not whatever
I just felt I was always my parents tell me at a young age. My dad played college hockey at Michigan, so my dad's his whole career was hockey, and his friends would say, what are you putting him in basketball for? He's got a hockey body, and my dad was like, well, he loves it. Like he's only picking up a basketball. He only wants to play basketball. So as a father, he didn't just do what was best, would have been easier for him, which is to go the hockey road that he knew.
I'm sure he had you with a puck, or I'm sure he had you with sticks in the house.
He tried, but it didn't matter. I just picked up a ball. So that was at a toddler age. Like my parents would tell me, I always had a basketball. I was dribbling. I slept with a basketball. So why? I don't know. Because it wasn't like getting pushed. A lot of people told my parents get him in something else because look at him. How's he going to be successful playing basketball? And that's all the way growing up country day till I got there. That was kind of other kids are going to come in, and I just said I can outwork those guys. And so I think that's kind of what's I tell our guys all the time. I've played every role on a team except star. So Greg's heard this. Like I've been the 9th man, I've been the 15th man, I've been the 11th man, I've been the 6th man, I've been the 4th starter. Right, like I've been all the roles except star. So I take a lot of appreciation for what those guys sacrifice and try to hold our best players accountable. So if one of our not as good players makes one mistake, we're not blaming him for a loss when you took 20 shots.
Yeah.
Right? Like he was 1 for 3, you were 4 for 20. So and there's a lot of coaches that don't do that, right? They prop up their stars. Our guys know, like, I'm going to be hardest on our best players. And because I love the coaches that did that. So and Greg is outstanding. He takes coaching. So I can get at Greg, and now if Greg can take it, the rest of you better.
Yeah.
He's about to score his 1,500th point pretty quickly here in his senior year, and maybe he gets to 2,000 if it goes well. I don't think I think when he got here that was probably a big goal for him. I bet you ask him that's a less goal for him now. Winning has become more important for him. So he sacrificed scoring. I mean, he had his lowest scoring average ever last year, and we went 22-3. We still need him to score. He was our leading scorer, shot taker, all that, but also playing with a more balanced team, you got to play kind of real basketball. So we've done a good job of doing that too. But to me, Greg Ray's a Mr. Basketball candidate without a doubt. He's the leading returning scorer in the Catholic League. His team went 22-3. He's a Division I player, and he's earned every bit of it. He's hardworking. He's a great kid. He's a 3.7 student. He's unreal. So I'm lucky to have him.
That's a fact. So, when you were young, did you have a coach or a mentor who left a big impression on you?
Yeah, a bunch. Like I said, starting with Roy Webb at the youngest age, then to Duran Walker and them together, Kurt Keener, and then again I've just played for really, really, really good coaches and worked with really, really good coaches. As an assistant coach, working for good head coaches, and now I'm as a head coach, really, really good assistant coaches. So I've just been blessed to be around, again, really talented players and really talented coaches. So that's why I think I've seen some really, really good ways to do things, so I can try to mirror some of that.
That's great. That's great. So, what did hard work mean to you back then compares to what it means now?
It probably means about the same because I don't feel like as a player, I never had the talent to not. So there's guys that can not work hard and they get these gifts that they can get by without working hard. So for me, like if I'd have done that, I'd have got cut from the varsity team in country day. So I had to be, again, walking into that gym where I went from being the best player that I knew to the worst in a gym at 12 years old was like, okay, and my dad really did a good job of, well, you got to go get better, right? You got to get better and you got to work. And so I didn't do some of the things that a lot of kids growing up around here did. I live at 15 in Louser. I would run to Country Day to 13 in Louser in the summer to lift and shoot, and then run home. To me, it was just a work ethic, and I think I've taken that to my playing career, my coaching career, and I think we've instilled that in our team works really hard. We get up a lot of mornings and do skill work, and they come back after school and play and lift, and guys leave here and go, our guys don't stop when they leave here. There's guys that work out 2-3 times a day, and so we've kind of, again, I think Curtis Williams, Xavier Thomas they didn't do everything for our culture, but that, we're going to work and we're going to work on our game. That was never a tough sell to my best players right away here. And so I fought like crazy Curtis Williams and Jonathan Blackwell stay after every day for 3 years and play one-on-one every day. And now you see them both having the success they're having, and they would push each other and they would fight like brothers, but when they left here, they were good. And so we had some things we had to continue to grow in our culture, but that, as soon as those guys got here, changed. I remember their first summer scrimmage here. We played for 2 hours. There's no AC in here. Kurt and X afterwards went and got the gun out. And the guys that had been here, they were freshmen. The guys that had been here were looking around like, what are they doing? And so right then I was like, okay, these are the type. And when I say, how did this program build? It starts with that day in the summer, as they just said, I know we just played for 2 hours in here in a summer scrimmage against another team. I don't even remember who we were playing, but they wanted to come out and get on the gun afterwards and stayed in here for 45 minutes and shot. So they established that in this program, and and then having Rashard Porter, Josh Baker, they've done nothing but enhance that for us. So I just think that's kind of our secret sauce.
Like when I used to coach at Consortium, I just want to say this real quick. I used to see guys do that. And I was coaching there when Josh Jackson was there. So when I was there, Josh was there, and Vince, those guys was there.
I had Vince in AAU as 1500. I was that might be the best team. I had James Young, Vince Hunter, Elbert, E.C. Matthews, Wes Clark, Austin Price. We had a really good team. I say all the time to Vince, and Vince went and played with the Stars and with Al, and I get all that nose ever mad at him. But if we could have kept Vince, I do feel like that would have been a Peach Jam championship team.
That is wow. You talking about EC? You talking about Rhode Island? You talking about
Wes Clark, Missouri.
Oh my God.
Austin Price was a 1,000-point scorer
at
James Young was a lottery pick.
At Kentucky. Oh my God.
We had some other guys too, but that was the main. So again, when I'm 23 years old, that's 25 years old. That's the AAU team I'm coaching. So when I got to Country Day, we had DeShante Riley, Donovan Kirk, Jordan Dumars, Ray McCallum, Benny Fowler, Chris Fowler, Amir Williams. We had a McDonald's All-American come off the bench for 2 years. My first year at Country Day.
My God.
So I was very spoiled young, and it took me a minute to as a young idiot coach, I thought oh man, look at this offense I'm helping institute. Look how good we are. Look how smart I am. And then I got here to Brother Rice my first year, and we didn't have Ray McCallum, and we didn't have Amir Williams, and I was trying to run the same stuff, and it was like, whoa, we didn't win a Catholic League game that year, so I had to realize pretty quick you're not as smart as you used to be. So and so that's where. Again.
No, but even those guys, those type of guys, they're not just good for a reason. You see those type of guys. When you see tons of guys on their cell phones on the court after practice, you see tons of guys. Those guys are getting the guns out. Those guys are, come here, coach, let me get up more shots. Those certain guys are there for a reason. They had that type of mentality where everybody's going to be over there sitting. Those guys going to be over there getting up more shots.
And we've had stars here the last couple of years: Warren Marshall, Elijah Williams, Greg Graves, Dave Williams. They don't not just want to. They're okay being coached. They're seeking coaching, and so that's. And I tell this story all the time. I playing for Kirk Keener, I was fortunate enough to be an assistant coach at McDonald's All-American game, and there's 24 McDonald's All-Americans, right? So it's the best of the best. And going into this, I thought, oh man, they're going to be prima donnas. They're going to be. That weekend, I realized the reason there's 75 guys that could be the McDonald's All-Americans. For most of them, why they became the cream of the crop was their character and their work ethic. So Tyrese Maxey was unbelievable that week. I'm a stranger, and he's seeking coaching for me. James Wiseman was National Player of the Year named the day before after practice at lunch, the first practice. Hey, coach, can you draw up the out-of-bounds plays? When I see him drawn up, that's how I get him on the court. And that's the National Player of the Year asking a stranger coming off the bus going to lunch for seeking coaching. And so that was a big. And so our guys have heard that story a bunch over the years, and the best ones seek coaching. We've had those guys around here that have done that.
I like that, Coach. So, walk us through your own playing career, like you said, your style was just a shooting the court. Like what was your style like on the court?
I would hope. I was tough. I would guard. I was an extension of the coach. I would put the ball in the right spot. I was kind of a combo guard. I play the 1, the 2, the 3. Kind of would just do what the team needed to do. Take a charge, gritty, glue guys. Sometimes that gets a bad rep. I'm proud of it. Like I wasn't good enough to be like a star to play on the teams we did. We went 88-22 the 4 years I was in college. It's the winningest 4-year stretch at Albany College still to this day was that 4 years. And I never started a game, but I played in every game for 4 years. So, and we had, like I said, we had 2 first-team All-Americans and the second leading scorer in school history, and won 2 league titles and got the Elite 8 in Division III, and we're nationally ranked. And so for me, I just took a lot of pride in winning and doing what it took, doing the dirty work and the little things to win, because I never really thought I was like I was never going to lead us in shots for us to be that good. And I was okay with that. I was just thrilled to continue my career and play for a really good coach and really good teammates that I'm still friends with to this day. So, and then in AAU, my family teams were Lester Abrams, Ricardo Billings, DeAndre Haynes, Joe Carr, Ray Metcalf, Derek Ponder, Ryvon Covell, Graham Brown. That was my AAU. So what I'm going to go be the man. I'm going to get to just jack up 15 shots a game. No, the only way I'm going to do that is to do some little things and help out. And Courtney Williams, Mike Moses, and those guys I'm still in a group chat with DeAndre Haynes, Courtney Williams, and Mike Moses that can sometimes have 1,000 texts a day in it. 2 of them are really good college coaches, and one of them's one of the best skills trainers around and AU coaches around. So I again, my friend groups, the people I've worked for, the people I've played for, I've just been around some really, really good people, and take a little bit in pieces of everybody.
Okay. So, do you remember that moment that tested your grit as a player and as a coach?
I mean, as a coach, my first year here when we didn't win a league game, that was tough. I mean, because my assistant coach Josh Baker says it all the time. You got to work just as hard to be bad. Like the coaches that on teams that aren't very good, they most of them still work really hard, and so it's you got to kind of like, man, are we ever going to be able to do this? And then building this program at the same time, the Catholic League took off. So the program I felt I built, if you'd have told me that before I got the job, we elevated to where I kind of wanted to go, but I didn't know the Catholic League was going to elevate so much further with us. And I think part of that was us. The Catholic League was a 5-team league, and there was a team in Brother Rice that people could just beat up on. So it's hard to say you got a really good league and so when we kind of changed how we did things, and I think you saw CC and De La Salle change some things that they didn't historically do. St. Mary's and UAD did. So now all of a sudden, I think it was 2022, all 5 teams were ranked number 1 in the state at one point. And what league does that happen in? And now you've added Toledo teams with unreal coaches and players. So everybody keeps saying the league's gonna be a little down this year, and it might be a little less talented, but it's still gonna be a battle. So yeah, I would say that first year here was, I wasn't anywhere near as smart as I thought I was. In my 20s as an assistant coach and AU coach with those teams I just mentioned, I had an ego where I thought it was me, and then you quickly realize, man, it's you better. There's a reason why some of the names you named, why you were winning games. So that was special. So I learned a lot, but it was as a player, man, it was just all. I wouldn't think there was a specific moment. There was always somebody, even in college, high school, there was always someone coming in that's supposed to grab my spot and take my spot, and so. I was a good teammate, but I just felt like I had to work, and so I think I've carried that on to this program as well. So we got more work to do.
So you just carried the grit on your back all
I tried to. I mean, maybe that sounds, I don't know. Maybe people wouldn't say that about us, but I think our teams play pretty hard and play pretty tough, and in a slugfest league where a lot of times there's no fouls called and we're beating on each other, and so I think we've had pretty tough groups. And we're going to fight every day to try to get over the top. But again, it's important, and we'd love to do that, but it's not the end-all be-all for me.
Okay. So if we looked at old game footage, what will we see? Will we see hustle, flash, leadership, or all 3?
From last year, I think you'd see the most.
No, from you.
Oh, from me? Like I said, you see a guy diving on the floor, playing defense, talking junk, hitting an open 3, and passing to the best players. And a guy who was on a free throw line. There was never a time that I wasn't over there talking to the coach, seeing what I saw. So I was a coach on the court. I don't think if you ask Mike Turner, if you ask Kurt Keener, were they surprised Durant Walker? If you'd have said to them 20 years ago, would you be surprised if Rick's a coach? I don't think. I think they would tell you like it's no big surprise. Because I kind of had to do those things. As again, I had to make sure the coach liked me the best because I couldn't do some of the things that, so somebody had to stay after. I was always nice to the coaches' wives. I was, Nidra Keener liked me, Peg Turner. I was the lead. She ran a mentoring program in Albion. I was the lead mentor. Like I felt out like, man, if the coach's wife likes me, that's the last person he sees every day. So I did a lot of those things because I didn't have the talent to do those things. So I joke my wife was kind of the opposite. My wife was a county athlete of the year and played all 3 sports in high school. I joke if any of my kids get my drive and her talent, we got a real chance to have a player. If they get the opposite, if they get my talent and her drive,
They hit.
they're not going to be very good. They're not going to be very good. So
Your girls got theirs.
yeah, I hope so. They got her size too. She's 5'11". I joke all the time. I didn't marry her for her attitude, which is not true, but is my joke. So, but yeah, no, it's cool. And now being on the other side of it, I think being a parent also helps you become a better coach. And as your kids start to play, you see the things you respect about other coaches, what they're doing for your kids, and try to pour into them like I do other people's children. And that's the tough part. There was times the last couple of years where my kids, a little younger, they were, hey, Dad, you're missing this and you're missing that, and I would say, you want me to be done, I'll be done, but this is what you're going to miss out on. So I don't think if your family doesn't embrace it, it gets really hard. My family's embraced it, and my wife takes on she's definitely the again, I'm not a starter in the parenting regard either. She's the star. I just kind of try to play a role and help out where I can and do that. But I think my kids also have seen like some of the hard work stuff and some of the talent stuff, and they're around our program enough to see kind of what you have to do to be good. And so that's been great for them to grow up around this. And maybe one day soon, my son's in 6th grade. He's a decent player, not a great player, but he's got a chance to, he's going to be tall. He's going to be able to shoot it. So we'll see. That'll be a whole nother experience coaching my own son.
3 or 4 more years. That's crazy.
He's getting really good at lacrosse. So we got a great lacrosse program here. So it'd probably be easier for me if he becomes a star in that. But we got a kid on our team, Ben Wechter, who's has a chance to win the Division I double state title this year. He's just 5-star lacrosse player, just committed to Duke, scored the game-winning goal in overtime in the state championship game, and he's going to be a contributor for us. So, and he'll be one of the first, maybe ever, 12-time letterman at Brother Rice. So, again, and he and my son really looks up to Ben. So, keeping my kids around these type of kids, and I've said this year's freshmen will be seniors when my son's a freshman. So, as we open house and on shadow days, as kids would come in, I would say to them like, hey, this class is really important to me because you're going to be the senior that puts his arm around my freshman son when he's here. So it does, like, what type of kids we want. And we've been able now that we've established ourselves, there's a certain type of kid we hope gets really interested in us, and there's a certain type of kid we don't do anything to try to get them very interested in us because they're not going to fit what we want and what we do. So and I've learned that in the 7 or 8 years here that we can be a little pickier of what we want, and now people know what we are. So if they're not, like, I'm not going to change. If they don't want what we give, then they're not going to come here. So it's kind of weeded itself out to really been. I said the last 3 or 4 years, the kids have been unreal. Working hard, they're coachable, they're friends off the court. There's no real. I get to just coach basketball instead of coaching other things, which is when I think I'm always having the most fun and when I'm at my best. So I said 2 years ago when we had Elijah Williams, we lost 4 games in a row. We had never done that here. But I was enjoying that grind because the kids were they didn't finger point. They were just like, all right, we got to get to work. We got to not feel sorry for ourselves. And we ended up then winning 15 in a row after that and tying the school record. So we had Trey McKinney on the ropes in that Catholic League final that year, his junior year. So, I'm really glad that he's at Michigan, and I hope he does a great job. And it'd be fun to root for him. People say all the time, I've gotten this question, why has much playoff success? Well, you look at some of the guys we've lost to. Jaden Akins was a senior. Trey McKinney, his freshman year team was unreal. Sophomore year team, he just had a huge night. His junior year team, they were number 1 in the state. They won the state championship. Like we've lost to some. Even UAD last year had 3 Division I seniors, right? So, and we lost at the buzzer, right? Which
Mm.
someone has to lose that game. It was as good of a played game as you can see against a great coach, and so we came up a little short. So again, I don't let that. I'm not in this. I gotta win one because I know what we're doing outside of winning, and that's
Mm.
to me more important. So I think we keep doing what we're doing. We're on the path, and man, it takes some luck. It takes a lot of things to get one. It's they're hard to win. My college coach Mike Turner always just said if winning was easy, everybody would do it, and so somebody's got to lose that game last year, and unfortunately it was us. But we went 22-3 with the team that I lost a 5-star, and no one really expected us to do that last year. So I think this year we have higher expectations coming into the year. And I don't. That doesn't bother me. I like that we have high expectations. We have good players. We should. We got 2 Division I seniors. One's a Mr. Basketball candidate. We've got, 2 other seniors that are going to be college basketball players. We've got 2 young guards, Adam Tribal and Jordan McDaniel, that are super, super talented. And as a name nobody knows about right now, Ian Newble's really coming to his own. He's going to surprise some people. So his dad played in the NBA and has really good genetics and has really just been on a steady incline since his freshman year to now. So, and he's starting to, you see the lights flashing a little bit now, and you're like, wow. So I think that'll kind of be our main 7, and then there's some other guys we think can step in and help us, and how we round out our rotation will be that. But we've got a good group and good kids and talented kids. So we that know our offense and know what we're doing, and thought this summer was really good for us. Unfortunately, we didn't have Trevor, our big kid, because he dislocated his kneecap in AU. But it really let guys like Ian and Yvonne get bigger roles and play. And the things we weren't having success with, a lot of Trevor coming back solves a lot of that problem. And so I feel
The big fella.
The big fella, yeah, he didn't play all summer. So
Wow.
he had dislocated his kneecap like the second game at AAU. So
He looks good too today.
yeah, today and every week he's getting a little bit better and a little better, looking a little more explosive. So I think we got a chance to be one of those teams that's right there. And listen, we've been that for the last 4 or 5 years. Last year we weren't supposed to be, but we were. So 5 years in a row now we've been on that short list of teams that's got a real chance to win it. We're going to be that again, and we're not going to skip steps or not work. That's what we want, but we're going to get after it.
Okay, well, a couple of parents said this is a championship year for state championship. When no Trey McKinney in the way and no some of those guys who have departed for college, seems like this may be the year. So at what point did you know that coaching was your path?
I think pretty early on, I knew, like, as soon as I got done with college, I wanted to coach. So I was trying like crazy to get a college job. I thought I wanted to do it for a living. I'm thrilled I went down that path, because if I didn't do that first, I would always thought that's what I wanted to do. And now I know this. It's an unbelievable lifestyle and doesn't feel like work, but it's hard on families, all the moving, all the, I've got friends in it, and it just wasn't for me. It wasn't the type of like lifestyle I wanted to have. So to be able to come back and be blessed enough financially to be able to do this is, running my own company and do that. This is my passion. So people have hobbies. This is mine. So, and it also puts me at a level where I don't do this to feed my family. I don't do this for personal accolades. I do this because I give back and try to pour in. So when it doesn't have maybe the success everyone says you're supposed to have, it doesn't, like, I got to get up and go to work the next day and feed my family. And I got a whole company of people that work for me. And so it takes pressure off of me knowing that. And being with Glenn Blackwell my first couple of years and going through the FCA stuff and helping, that really helped change my mindset of, if you'd have told me 8 years ago we hadn't won a state championship yet, I told you I'd be like depressed. And he's showing me a path of why you serve and 3-dimensional coaching and being a servant leader to these guys is to take more pride in that than necessarily the wins and losses has really changed me. I don't think I could have got through the last 6 or 7 years if I was one of these coaches who was only concerned about winning, because it's hard to do. And I know we're doing some really good things otherwise. So I think, again, I take bits of, again, having a guy like Glenn Blackwell in my life, not only having Jonathan as a player, but getting the teachings like Glenn has taught me over the last 7 years has been like, not only made me a better coach, but a better father, a better husband, better everything. So I've just been blessed to be around some really, really, really good people. So that's where we're at.
I love that. So was there it's on a few more too. Was there a specific moment or player that confirmed to you, like, yeah, this is why I coach?
Um, Honestly, every year when the alumni, again, I talked about it earlier, but the alumni game, the summer barbecues, when those guys come back, or I get a text after a game from one of the guys who played for me, my first year, I had that hashtag my guys, and it's just kind of stuck because I really want them. And again, I've said it, it's not 4 years, 40. So, I try to stay in contact. The guys I stay in contact with more, but I think they still know if they need something, they can call me. I've gotten calls to be references on jobs. The guys are getting, hey coach, I'm about to get married. Hey, I'm getting older in this, so now starting to go to players' weddings and do those things. And from my country day kids, getting calls about parenting advice and so it's but that every year that alumni game, that summer barbecue that I have, that's like the and signing day. I would say those 3 days always to me like are like the fuel I need to get through a year because it's hard, man. The stuff's a lot. You pour a lot into it for no money and a lot of time and a lot of ups and downs emotionally and to those days refuel me. So signing day I say is always my favorite day of the year. Well, along with the alumni game and some of the alumni stuff that I do because when they come back, that tells me like they enjoyed their experience. They want to see their teammates. They care enough about what we did for them, and they care enough still about what we have going on to come back. And that's everything for me.
Glad to hear that. So, how does coaching compare to playing in the terms of the grind?
It's just a different grind. I think I'm way more nervous as a coach than a player, right? Like, as a player, you think you can go control some things. Sometimes as a coach, man, there's things you can do, but man, a lot of times you're not shooting the ball, you're not making a decision, you're not making a play. You try to put them in the best, so it's different. You know, it's a lot of work. Both for me, I had to work really hard as a player, so I worked really hard as a coach, but I had to probably work harder than most guys did. So it's not. I would think a lot of people would say it's harder. The coaching grind's harder than the playing guard, but again, I didn't have any. I didn't have any given like special talents. So I had to grind really hard in order to play even at the level I played at, which wasn't some super high level. I get that, like D3 basketball. I wasn't like some type of Division One player, but
No,
we had some really good, still
great.
college basketball. We had some really good
Yeah, that's
teams,
still
and
great. Now,
in
come
order
on.
to play and do that, I had to work really hard. So it just kind of carries on, and that's part of the like as your playing career ends. It's probably the part about coaching that like still being in a locker room, still having a group of guys that's grinding towards a goal. That's what you get. You still get that competitive that you loved as a player for me. So so I would say it's pretty similar.
Okay. Okay. So, when you hear the phrase sweat equity, what does that phrase mean to you?
Man, that's just to me, that's what our program's about. And I don't say that's necessarily what a word we use, but we're in here, man. Like this gym does. I'd say this all the time. This gym doesn't look like much. This isn't like some palace, but it's ours. We don't have a girls basketball program. We don't have volleyball. We don't have. They allow. I'm a high school coach that has keys to his own gym, so guys can come up here and get in here at 9, 10 o'clock at night, go get on the gun and shoot. I think we come before school. So, and I live 100 yards from here. So this isn't much, but it's ours, and our guys have access to it. And so that's not everywhere. Some of these schools have these beautiful gyms, and the coach doesn't have a key to the gym. So what, like, you gotta, in order to be up there, the AD's got to come and listen. The AD, we got the best AD in the world. He's not going to be in this gym as much as I am, and our guys are. So if I had to wait for him to open the door, we wouldn't be as good. So anyway, to be at a place like Brother Rice where they allow me to do that and allow our guys to be in here. Archie Anders will see a guy in here, and they're not going to bug him. Like they know what he's doing, and so that there's no AC in here. There's no like this gym is a place where you got to work. And so again, I'm the Curtis Williams, the Elijah Williams, the Jonathan Blackwells. Those guys are special, but the guys who were here and grinded out their way to being college basketball players that weren't on anybody's list when they got here, they got that from sweat equity.
Ooh. Okay. Okay. So, how do you teach your players how to value hard work over shortcuts?
I think here, if you don't work hard, you're not going to work. So we got guys here that hasn't worked. Like we have enough guys now that work hard that you don't have a choice. So if there's 17, 18, 19, I mean, like we got kids that are going to play on the freshman team in this open gym today, right? And they don't look out of place, right? So like
Today?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So
They were freshmen?
there were some freshmen in there. There were some guys that are playing JV. So, if you don't want to work hard, like listen, there's 40 guys in our program that want to play college basketball. So if you don't want to work hard, you know, again, when I first got here, you could maybe not work hard because we didn't have a choice. There wasn't enough. But now there's.
But I say like I'm sorry to cut you off. Your freshman, like I told you, your freshman team, JV team, and varsity team, all played well. All were deep.
And I think part of that is a lot of schools will go work out with their 8 or 9 best players. We want anyone who wants to be in the gym to get better. So we don't go varsity only lifting. It's basketball lifting. We don't go, hey, let's get in and let's do our shooting workout. So as long as I'm not sitting there coaching them and they know the routine, our seniors can lead it. They can sit in here and there can be 24 guys in here shooting. And there's guys, we don't have 24 varsity players, right? There's times in here we got 23, 24 guys trying to get better. So if you don't want to work hard, unless you're, not all of them have, they're more similar to me as a player. They didn't always get all the God-given stuff. So you don't want to work hard, your career's going to end here. And unfortunately, we're going to have to cut some good players this year. Guys that have been our program, some of those guys, as you said, were on the JV and on the freshman team. There's only so many numbers, and so that gets hard. So there's guys like Greg Gray's in here working to try to be Mr. Basketball. There's guys in here working just as hard because they just want to make the team, right? There's guys working just as hard. There's guys working just as hard trying to. I want to get in the rotation, right? Or I want to make JV as a freshman. Or they all have different goals, and so we want to pour into all those guys and try to help get them better. And the only way to do that, I can't do that all by myself. I got everyone jokes about how many people are on our staff, right? But like we need that many guys because we have that many kids that want to be in here and get better. So that's the culture we've built. So I think that is. I mean, we don't use that phrase, but sweat equity is the only way you get it done here.
Okay, but no shortcuts at all for sure. Okay, so what's a drill? What's one drill or practice habit you swear by to build mental toughness?
Mental toughness. We've got a drill called the Pickman drill. It's a rebounding drill. It's a 2-on-2. There's 2 lines of offensive guys and 2 guys in there. They got to get 3 rebounds in a row as the coach just kind of throws on the backboard. They know they got to get 3 rebounds. They got to throw an outlet. And as soon as they throw the outlet, then they throw it to the coach, and the coach shoots another, and 2 more guys come crashing in. So they got 3 rebounds in a row to get out of the drill. That one, we have a kill drill where we scrimmage, but the only way to score a point is to get 3 stops in a row. So you go up and down, and you got to get 3 stops in a row. So it works both ways. If I'm on offense and they've got 2 stops in a row, I really got to execute and be tough and don't do anything stupid and make the right play. If I'm on defense and we're on our second, we talk about that a lot, kills in our program, 3 stops in a row. And when we get 6 or more kills over the last 7 years, we're like 95% win percentage, right? When we don't, we don't. So when we get 3 or 4, our numbers aren't as good. So we drill it. You see us on a bench, you'll see me all of a sudden just look over our bench and start going crazy. No one really knows why. It's because we've gotten a kill. And so the expectation is all 10 guys on the bench are jumping up, going crazy. You'll hear me yelling it, you'll hear our bench calling it, kill, kill, kill. And that's we're on 2 stops, we're about to get a 3rd. And so that's a big thing. And that was actually Isaiah Novak, who's now the head coach at Rochester Adams. He brought that here when he was our JV coach. So again, like that, it wasn't something, and I think he probably stole it from Xavier College or Xavier University in Ohio. So like no one's creating anything spectacular, but that's been a really good thing. I think the toughness, and we've got talented players. We're going to play on offense, but you got to get stops and rebounds to win. And so those are probably 2 of the. Like our guys aren't usually that excited about Pickman drill, and we don't do it every day because it's physical and it gets kind of crazy. So we don't want to get anybody hurt, but you got to do it. You got to do it enough to be ready.
I like that. Oh my! I actually want to see that in
live.
Yeah. Like the way I never heard of that, but I did heard of the boxing out drill, kind of, but like not how you put it, like putting like getting 3 rebounds in a row. I've never done it like that.
And then I think the big thing you go to our practice, we're still going to at least a half an hour every day. There's going to be skill work still within our 2-hour practice. So like the most confident guys are the most skilled guys, and the better they feel about their jump shot and their handle and it's tight. And you can drop the best player in the world and it might get you 4 points. But if you got 5 guys out there who are all skilled, confident, they're going to make a shot and can dribble, that's better than any play you're going to spend your time running. So
5 threats is better than 1 threat.
And we're not playing fall league. Everyone asks why we don't play fall league. Because I believe this time of year it's just about getting better. It doesn't need to if everybody's getting better, our team's getting better. We don't need to go do all the folly stuff and all that, because to me that's time you take away from being in the gym, getting yourself better. So that's really what we've done in the last 3 or 4 falls, is just really concentrate on getting better individually, and that makes us collectively better.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So, 3 more. Do you think today's generation of athletes has it harder or easier when it comes to earning success?
I think they have it harder because with social media and with everything else, what is success for them is skewed. So I saw this all the time. You know, in our era, Prep Spotlight magazine used to come out. And I would be pissed. People would be pissed. Like, how could Vince Baldwin and Andre Charity rank me here? I'm better than him, and him, right? And so every coach probably dealt with that. That magazine came out once every 3 months. So that day or two, everybody was pissed off. And Press Spotlight magazine comes out every day now on social media. Every day, someone's getting an offer, somebody's getting a ranking, somebody's getting this, somebody's getting a hype video, somebody's getting. And a lot of times you see these hype videos and like, man, we played against him. I don't even remember him scoring. And like, maybe I look at the scorebook, he had 7 points, but this highlight video they put together, I mean, it looks outstanding. So I think from that regard, they got to kind of define what success is, and you have to manage that with kids now. We didn't have to do that. Like, we could get messed with by our teammates and messed with by other people and from 8 to 3 at school. But at 3 o'clock, we went home. You have to call my house. My parent would have to pick up for you to be able to, like, get to me, right? Now, these kids with cell phones and social media, and I don't want to sound like an old guy. I just think it's different. You got to adapt to that, and, you know. And you hear a lot of, I don't know that kids have changed that much. I think, you know, adults have changed. And so, but I do. They have more to deal with than we did. We could just kind of go hide and be in our house and go home, have a bad day, go home, have dinner, do your homework, get up, have 7 hours, 8 hours of sleep. You're not seeing anything else going on. You're just at home. You're in your safe spot. That's not for these kids. They can pick up their phone at all times and see something that, man, this guy's getting this or this guy's getting that, comparing things, and it's tough.
I mean, but is that like more distractions, or, I mean, like, oh man,
it's distractions, but I think the mental health thing's real. You know, Trevor Smith, our big kid, has become in charge of the Warrior Wellness program here. Both his parents are in the mental health space. I'm super proud of him off the court. They have a Warrior Wellness Week that he's kind of been one of the main guys leading for the last couple of years, and so there's different challenges that these guys have that we didn't have. You know, I think a lot of it is the phones and social media. Not that it does great things, right? They can go YouTube Isaiah Thomas. They can go YouTube. They can go see. They can learn. They can do. There's things they have access to that are unbelievable. But then there's some things they get the other way of that. So, yeah, it can be a distraction. It can be well, you know, there's no phones in the gym when the practice starts. We got to stay in your locker. This, you know, it's nice. And I think they don't like it at first. We'll go to a team dinner and they're not allowed to take their phone out. And they like looking at it, and then but all of a sudden conversations start. And you know, these guys don't have to order pizza. They don't have to call. They want to call a girl. They don't call and hope that the dad doesn't pick up. Right? They don't have to do some of the things we had to do. So, but I think those are keys. Eventually, I know technology's helping, but eventually you got to pick up the phone, call someone, and make a sale in your work world, and you got to be able to communicate and talk. So we try to push them to do some of that stuff too.
Now, I had a question. The question was like, you know, man, I forgot where I was gonna go with that question. I forgot I was gonna go. But let me just go ahead and go. Come back to me. So when your players graduate and move on, what's the number one thing you hope they carry on with them from your program?
I hope they come back. I hope they want to be in the gym. I hope they still care enough about me and their teammates and us to stay connected to our program. And that's, you know, I want them to go have success. I want them to be successful, contributing members to society, right? So it doesn't have to be an NBA player, right? Those are great, but and I think you see a lot of coaches have great relationship with their best players that leave, because again, it's transactional. They can still get something from them. If it's transformational, it's about the relationship you built. So I played golf the other day with Smith Casper. He's a Division II baseball player that was on our team my first 2 years, and we just went and played golf and he's one of my favorite guys and a guy we stayed in contact with. So those type of things to me are the most important. So yeah, that they care enough about their experience in the basketball program and the school that they want to come back here. And so anytime an alum's here and they're at a game, I bring them back in the locker room after the game. And it's the message to our kids is just say, this is bigger than me. This is bigger than you. This is a program that we're built, and this thing matters. So to a lot of people that aren't even here. So that's the type of mindset I want them to have when they leave.
Okay, so I got one quick question. Like, came to me now. Like eventually, this is it's tough, but you've been playing this game. You've seen a lot of great players. Eventually, basketball will fail you at some point.
Yes.
At some point, basketball will fail you when you get down the line, as far as in when you get older. How are you preparing them mentally to know that, sometimes kids put all their marbles, or parents put all their marbles into basketball, into, now kids is doing that from kindergarten growing up. Train, play. But at some point, when basketball fails you, when you get older, not everybody, but if basketball fails the majority,
It could be depressing.
it could be depressing. How would you be able to deal with that? Are you teaching them, as far as you said, the networking, you guys, as far as I'm sure you got buddies who got companies and businesses. Are you teaching them about the life part? Because at some point when basketball fails you, some kids get depressed and go different routes. How are you preparing them for that?
Again, I go back to the transactional and transformational. If you have a transformational relationship with them, they realize you're not just have a great relationship with them. You're not just proud of them because of how many points they scored or how many wins we got. So do I want to win a state championship? Yes. But like, again, sitting here talking about Trevor and the Warrior Wellness, that's like, Trevor, we're really proud of you for doing that, right? Like, guys get great grades. So their whole identity, they can work hard and they can pour a lot into basketball, but their whole identity can't be basketball. It can't be everything they are, everything they do. So that, and again, that gets hard. And you add the social media layer to it. But I talked to Marcus Webster about this summer. You got to pray for some of these kids that it doesn't go well for, because they put everything, every egg in that basket. And man, like you said, it comes to an end for everyone at some point, right? And so what else are you proud of as a person? What else are you into? What else are you? And so some kids are good about that, and some kids are. You gotta fight it out of them.
Well, to me, you gotta try to find some things that you're not great at during these times.
Yeah.
During these times, find other passions, find other things that you want to go to school for, that you want to be able to do. Maybe go into some other things that you, to keep your main focus to basketball, but broaden your horizons.
Yeah, and I talk about all the time, be a full Brother Rice student. Don't just come here and play basketball. Because there's great things. There's 160, 70 kids in this freshman class. Somebody's going to be probably a senator. Somebody's going to be a big-time business owner. And it might be one of our guys. But get involved. Don't just sit with the basketball kids at lunch. Right? Let's just go outside of your comfort zone. And some guys are really good about that, and some guys you really got to push to do that. So it's a great point in the mental health space. And then, with having the spiritual aspect of what we do at a Catholic school, you keep God first. And so they're getting that message not just from me, but from everyone in the hallway. And so, we've had guys that their relationship with Jesus has increased since being here, and that's helped them through that. So every kid's different, but yeah, that's huge. That's huge, because we haven't had anybody in our program that's really struggling with that, but it happens.
Okay. I just want me to throw that in there, 'cause like that was a thing in my head. I love to ask players that, because I've seen it go. I've seen different players, and I always wonder how are they taking that, being so much of a big of a star when you were younger, and now you're not. And that's just a thing.
It can happen not when basketball ends. It can just happen like I might have been the number 5 7th grader in the country, and now I'm just a mid-major Division I player, like that. And how do you handle that? And you were that as a 7th grader because you were this, you were that, you grew your body, and some of it's not even under anyone's control. You're this and that, but then you don't grow an inch, you don't put on any weight. Like genetically, you just don't get some of the things that some of these pros get. Duran Walker says all the time, if I could make a pro, I'd have made my 2 sons pros. And he's had more pros than anybody, but he said God makes pros. And so some of the things are out of your control, and just like I said, for me, that's easy. And because I loved my career, and it wasn't a star career, but I loved it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. The teams I was on, the people I was with. That guy Ryan Frohock graduated in 2023 with Curtis Williams and Xavier Thomas and those guys, and he was a valedictorian here, and his speech was all about that.
Mm.
That I could have went to other places and played more, but I got to play with Curtis Williams and Jonathan Blackwell and Xavier Thomas and win Catholic championships and playing big games and be around our coaching staff every day. And so, you hope guys get that from leaving here. And again, when I go back to, I hope they come back. I think when they come back, they get that. They get it was more than just like, this was great for me basketball-wise, because we get our best players back, but we get guys I barely played, and they come back too, right? So it was more to them than just the basketball. So
I love to hear that. I love to hear that. Because okay. So 2 more. What's next for you and your team this season?
let's go get better tomorrow. We got lifting and shooting tomorrow, so we're really singular focused right now. And it sounds like coach speak and everything else, but there's a lot of people that the 4-man rule, and a lot of people don't like it and probably break the rule. But for me, it's not that I love the rule. It's just I think that's what you should be doing. You should be doing nothing but trying to get better. And so you shouldn't be doing 5-on-5. And we play open gym a couple days a week, but we spend a lot more time on player development, body development. So let's get up tomorrow and get after school and get a good lift in and get some shooting done. I mean, we shot 42% from 3 last year as a team. We can do that again. We're going to be pretty good. That's why no one thought we were going to be that good. But if you'd have told me before the year you're going to shoot 42% from 3 and take about 18, 19, 20 a game,
Wow.
Guess what? Like you're going to you're going to win some games. So
That's a fact.
And I think our guys shot more shots than anybody, like in the offseason. So it's not a secret. It's not osmosis. Get in here and get some shots up. So that's the focus tomorrow. Let's go get better.
Okay. So if you could leave this audience with one line about success, hard work, or life, like your own personal sweat equity motto, what would it be?
Ooh. I go back to, if it was easy, everybody would do it. My college coach probably said that to us 7 times a day, Mike Turner. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. I know it's hard. You know what else is hard? Winning. Like that. Those are things that was just in his speech at all times. And again, bigger than basketball, right? When work gets going hard, when being married gets going hard, when being a parent gets going hard, those aren't just basketball lessons. Those are really good life lessons. So just go work, right? And so you don't like how it's going, go out, work somebody, and go play really hard. So that would probably be it.
Okay. What do you want to be? This is just for coaching too. I know you got a business and I know you have a family, but what do you want to be remembered as? How do you want your coaching legacy or people to remember you coaching, as far as in the masses, your players, everyone?
So Alfred Casa was a legendary football coach here, just passed.
Sorry to hear about that.
Yep, man, I lived 92 years. He was an amazing man. And he won, I think, 13 or 14 state titles. He won hundreds and hundreds of games. No one in his funeral service talked about that. No one after the service was talking about any of the wins. Nobody was talking about any of the stuff. They were talking about the type of man he was, the type of husband, father, grandfather, coach, teacher, person, how he cared for people. Like, I don't try to be Alfred Casa. That's a once-in-a-lifetime guy. But when you're there and you see the effect he had on people, again, it makes the winning insignificant. Anyone who won more than him, and guess what? It's not on his gravestone. It wasn't talked about his eulogy. It was his son and his daughter or his granddaughter talking about what an amazing man he was, and then talking to everybody in the afterglow after. There wasn't a game talked about. And so I knew that, but that was like really eye-opening to me at this funeral a couple weeks ago. That just, man, no one cares. And you're judged on that way more than you're judged on what type of coach you are and who was better than him, right? Like, no, he's the face of this. He's the face of this school, right? He built this. This was a school nobody knew about, and he kind of built it along with some other people. But man, he's kind of the face of this school, and no one cares at his funeral about how many wins. No one would be, if he won 11 instead of 13, there wouldn't have been any less people there, right? So, ultimately that's the goal. I want those guys that man, Coach cared. Coach was there for me. Coach taught me some things outside of here that I still, just like I just talked about Mike Turner, right? Like I've talked about Duran Walker, I've talked about Kurt Keener, and those guys poured basketball into me, but they poured life into me. So I would say the same thing. Hopefully that's what I would want my legacy to be. Now, do I want to win a couple championships? Of course, but it's not going to be the first and foremost most important thing.
Okay, Coach, I tell everybody this all the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving me your time, and I appreciate your time, because I always tell everybody this: if you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else.
Yeah.
So if you're giving me your time, time is one of the most precious and greatest things that we have here on earth. And for you giving me your time, I can only be appreciative, and I can only say thank you. And I want to say I appreciate that.
Thanks
So
for-
guys,
Thanks for what you do.
guys, we have Coach Rick Palmer. We're Brother Rice. This has been Sweat Equity Podcast. I want to say thank you. Thank you to Coach Rick Palmer, and we're out.
Thank you.